Hello and welcome to this match between Ukraine and Greece. Ukraine started underway with the ball from number 3 from Ukraine. Unfortunately, I had not enough time to go over the lineup for this game before they started the stream. So number 3, 1, and 8 are on the court for Ukraine in that order from left to right. And Greece just had a throw from Vicky Agro, crossed the face of the number 1 in center, pass to number 8, who's going to throw from that center region of the court. A bouncing ball into the center of Greece. The center for Greece should be number 9, Pushtamati, but it looks like maybe this game it might be Naka. Ball blocked by Naka and center handed off to Vicky Ago. They also have number 3, Chakadaki in. Greece just made their first goal with the help of Vicky Ago, who threw across the face of center. Number 3 dives with her hands into that gap. That ball just had enough topspin to bounce over her in that left-hand gap for Ukraine. And Greece just earned their first goal with 10 minutes and 51 seconds to go in this first half, taking the lead. Number 8 from Ukraine bounces the ball into that gap between Ago and Naka. Naka has to go chase that ball after a deflection forward, but is unable to do so, so Ukraine will receive the ball back as a turnover. Number 3 from Ukraine throwing a full cross into Ago, confidently blocks that ball on that left-hand side in the gap, moves the center out of the way, so Ago will be throwing from center into that left gap for Ukraine, saved by number 1 and pass to number 8 on that right side. She'll throw out of center again, throw into that gap between Naka and Chakadaki. Chakadaki taking that ball on that right side. She'll throw a smooth ball down the line to number 3 of Ukraine, safely blocked. Ukraine will take their first time out of this game with 10 minutes and 9 seconds on this clock. So let's go over the lineup from both of these teams now that we have a little bit of a break. For Greece, we have number 2, Vicky Ago, number 3, Alini Chakadaki, number 4, Evelempia Mavrotui, number 7, Paraskivi Naka, number 9, Ivania Shtamati, and number 1, Maria Tazala. For Ukraine, we have number 8, Yulia Fakaviva, number 3, Ola Lukovic, number 1, Maria Harta Belkiv, number 4, Natalia Melina, and number 5, Alexandra Davidova. That ball was taken by number 8 of Ukraine and thrown. Now this ball will be taken by Chakadaki on that right side, throwing down the line on Ukraine's left side, saved by the feet of number 3 from Ukraine. She'll take that ball from that left-hand post and throw into the gap between Chakadaki and Naka. Naka passes off to Ago, who's going to run around the center, decides actually to go back to her side and throws a full cross on number 3 from Ukraine, who safely blocks that ball in her corner on that left side. Number 3 from Ukraine starting from the left-hand post. She'll be throwing a full cross on Ago, who saves that ball with her hand. She'll head over to her left post to do a hop, a skip, and a jump, and just a skipping ball that deflects off the hands of number 1 in center is just saved by the toe of number 3 and blocked out for Ukraine. Number 3 from Ukraine will start out with the ball for this half, throwing a ball in between Chakadaki and Naka, almost through, but collected again by the feet of Chakadaki. Chakadaki on this right side, almost through the gap on that side between number 1 and 3 from Ukraine. 3 taking another throw from Ukraine, throwing across court to Ago, but Ago has her body angled just so that the ball went out. Ago on this left side. With a hop, starting to skip the ball, a short cross across the face of the center, number 1, who passes to number 8, On the right side, she'll throw from center a bouncing ball into Naka, but stopped. Naka will hand the ball off to Chakadaki on the right-hand side. We have an official's timeout for noise. Chakadaki will restart this play with the ball. She'll throw the ball down the line on number 3 on Ukraine. She'll block the ball forward, collect it for herself, back up all the way to the goal, and take this throw one-step approach across court, across the face of Naka in center, but she was able to make that block. Vicky Go throwing a bouncing ball, died a little bit, just too much angle on it, a little bit too far out. And so number 3 from Ukraine will take the ball. There's also an official's timeout, so the ball will be taken away from number 3. And they will be checking the center for Ukraine. I think she's getting an unsolicited eye shade check. It didn't seem like she asked for it herself, but the referees are being very thorough this game. Number 3 from Ukraine from that left-hand side is throwing into the gap between Chakadaki and Naka. Both tried to chase after that ball, so they're going to have to throw it quick. Naka does so, throws into that right gap between number 8 and 1 from Ukraine. 8 will recover the ball, go over to that right post to throw a skipping ball across the face of Naka, but saved by Chakadaki. Chakadaki will back up into that gap for Greece on that right-hand side and throw down the line. A ball with a lot of velocity behind it, saved by the feet of number 3 from Ukraine. Number 3, Ukraine, throwing into the gap between Naka and Chakadaki. Seems to be the spot that they're looking for this game, but just not able to make its way through. Chakadaki this time down the line, saved by the feet of number 3 for Ukraine. Number 3 from Ukraine, throwing into the center at Naka, but Naka saves the ball, passes off to Vicky Ago, who goes around her center, and throws from that right-hand side down the line on number 3 from Ukraine, but unable to make her way through. Her feet were safely secured on that line. Number 3 for Ukraine, throwing just yet again, just crossed the face of center on Naka, but not able to make their way through. Ago will have this next shot yet again for Greece. She'll throw a bouncing ball into the center against number 1 for Ukraine, but she'll safely block that ball with her feet and pass the ball off to number 8, who is their premier thrower, almost a way in for Ukraine, but Chakadaki just rolls back and saves that ball. She throws down the line on number 3 for Ukraine, right in front of her, but no way through. 3 from Ukraine takes a one-step approach and throws across the face of Naka. And Vicky Ago will make her way into the center to throw a bouncing ball, but doesn't have a lot of action by the time it reaches the other side, so safely saved by number 1 from Ukraine. A plane flying overhead, and we don't have an official's timeout here. So potentially Ukraine had a little bit of an advantage on that throw. Chakadaki, a reverse cut gap to the corner, from the gap to the corner on that right side, but was not able to score on number 3 from Ukraine, who will be taking this ball from her left post. Number 3 from Ukraine, throwing the same exact shot in between the gap, in between the players of Naka and Chakadaki on that right side, but saved. Chakadaki searching for her first goal of the game, unable to get that. One interesting thing for our viewers watching this game is that you can throw 7, 8, 9 times at a player from Ukraine, and they still won't pass the ball to their companions if they make the block. So they really love to throw, and there's really not a lot of communication happening on Ukraine as well, other than passing and telling their teammates that they have the ball. Number 3 from Ukraine, throwing across the face of Naka, not able to get past her feet. Pass back to Ago, and Ago passes that out in fear of a 10-second penalty, especially since they're up by 1 goal in this game. This time, number 8 from Ukraine, Fakaviva, takes that ball and throws a great bounce ball into that left gap, blocked by Naka though. no way through and passes off to Chakadaki, a deflection off of number 3 from Ukraine. The center recollects that ball forward and then passes it out so that they do not get a 10-second penalty this time. 4 minutes and 54 seconds in this first half to go. A go will be starting with the ball from the right post for Greece. A little bit of a hop before she starts that ball, throws a smooth ball that deflects off of the hands of number 1 from Ukraine, their center, in that left gap, and recovered by number 3, who decides to throw a full cross into a go, who's going to go past her center into that right gap for Greece to throw the ball, but hits the center. Not her intended shot, I believe. The center, number 1, will pass to number 8 on that right side, who will throw out of the center and throws into the right corner on Chakadaki. Chakadaki on Greece, throwing a straight shot into that gap between number 1 and 3 from Ukraine. She'll hit that ball into the center, deflect it off of Naka, and number 3 from Ukraine got her first goal of the game. Equalizing this game 1-1 with 4 minutes and 2 seconds left to go in this first half. Vicky Ago from that left side throwing a bouncing ball across the face of center. Number 1 collects with her hands, passes it to number 8, who's going to take a bouncing ball into the center again at Naka, but saved this time easily. Passed off to Ago, who wasn't expecting to get that pass from Naka. Takes a couple of steps to throw into the corner of number 1 from Ukraine on that left side, who takes a couple steps and releases that ball in between the gap of Naka and Chakadaki on Greece's right side. Chakadaki throws a ball very fast, good velocity into that gap between 1 and 3 on Ukraine's right side. Almost a goal, but saved by number 8 from Ukraine. Chakadaki will have her second chance now to try to score another goal in that gap, but throws this time down the line, deflected off of the feet of number 1 for Ukraine, but this time it goes forward and out. Number 3 from Ukraine throws a ball across the face of Naka in center, given by Ago. This time Ago goes across behind center and throws, but unfortunately throws at center on the other side. Number 8 from Ukraine throws into that left gap and hits the feet of Naka. That ball went out in the neutral area, and so it will be going back to Ukraine's number 8 on that right side. Number 8 Ukraine, Fakaviva, throwing into the center area. Naka makes the block and will pass off to Chakadaki, who's taking that ball on the right post for Greece. She's taking too long, and Manny will call a timeout so that Greece does not receive a 10-second penalty. 2 minutes and 29 seconds to go in this first half. The score is 1-1, Ukraine versus Greece, and Greece will potentially be throwing this ball out off of that block. Not able to potentially get the ball off in time. They're looking to see exactly what they can do in this game. This game is very important for both teams, as if Greece wins this game, they will be forcing a 3-way tie between Finland and Ukraine for that first place position. The team with the best point differential will move in to play Hungary for the semifinal games, which is the most desirable game to get themselves into that 1 versus 4 semifinal. 2 and 3 will play together against each other, but Greece may have too little points to move into that first place position, but they may force it so that they get a more desirable semifinal against a team that they would prefer to play instead. Number 8 from Ukraine throwing a bouncing ball into the center over Naka, and just saved on the goal line by the number 2 Vicky Ago, who's going to throw that ball out. Not a top arm there by Naka, which really was almost fatal to Greece's defense. Number 8 from Ukraine throwing another bouncing ball into Chakadaki on that right side. Looked like she blocked it with her face, but still blocked it. That's all that matters. She's going to throw a ball down the line on number 1 for Ukraine on that left side. Chakadaki will get an eye shades check, I believe, to readjust her eye shades from that last shot that must have just knocked her really hard in the face. Ball starting on the left-hand side for Ukraine with number 1, who throws a full cross at Vicky Ago. She manages to make the block and will sweep behind her center to throw a skipping ball into the center. Again, another non-intended shot from Ago to hit the center player from Ukraine, potentially. She'll pass off to number 8 from Ukraine, who will throw from that right-hand side, right-handed bouncing into the center at Naka, but Naka's up for the block. 1 minute and 20 seconds to go, and we're at a stalemate here in this game. Neither team is leading as it's tied 1-1. Number 3 from Ukraine taking this ball from that left post. She'll throw a ball into the center for Greece. Greece's center passes off to Ago, who will throw out of the center area, which is how she scored her first goal, and bounce the ball into that number 3 player on that left-hand side for Ukraine, but unable to make her way through this time. She'll throw a full cross on Ago. Ago will block the ball, take her time getting up to throw that ball. Looks like maybe she wasn't intending on throwing it, and we'll throw a smooth ball into the center, but passed off now to number 8 from Ukraine on that right side. Number 8 from Ukraine throwing a bouncing ball down the line at Ago. Actually, it was into the gap, and it was blocked out by the feet swinging of Naka. Now we have Chakadaki, who's taking that ball from that right side, but not an open shot over there for that wing number 1 from Ukraine. She's not leaving her line open, so Greece is going to have to think about throwing another shot with better opportunities to try to score their goal. Ago this time from the left side, sweeping behind her center, but going back to that left-hand side to throw. Very close to hitting the center, actually, on that throw, but does not. Number 3 from Ukraine from that left side, hitting right between Chakadaki and Naka. Looks like Greece will be having a substitution. They're bringing out Chakadaki and putting in number 4, Eva. Eva, 16 years old, very young player from Greece. Just recently started playing in the last 2 years, but very tall, actually around taller than some of the men's players at this tournament. Has a lot of potential and has grown substantially, not in height, but improved and grown in this game of goalball in the last couple of years, adding a lot to the offense for Greece with bouncing and skipping balls. Manny caused a team penalty, a delay of game for Greece for not having her sub cards ready. That means that Ukraine will be able to choose which player they like to block this penalty. Likely it will be number 4 to block this penalty, who just came in. She has been a little bit of a defense liability in other games. She doesn't seem to know that there's actually a penalty happening. Okay, so Naka will actually be defending this penalty. But as I said, Eva, she's had a little bit of instability in her defense in previous games. So it could be that Ukraine will try to go for her when she's in. Player number 8 throws a bouncing ball from the right side past Naka. And Ukraine will take the lead past Greece with a crucial mistake by Coach Manny. Greece getting a goal by Vicky Ago, or getting a throw by Vicky Ago at the end of that half to try to score one more goal, but is unable to. We'll have 3 minutes for this halftime for the teams to regroup and try to see exactly what they can bring into the second half. A very tight game so far between Ukraine and Greece, with only one open play goal on each team, and this last goal going in from Ukraine on a penalty due to a delay of game from Greece's coaching staff not having their substitutions ready. Looks like Greece will also be making a substitution at this table, with Manny going over to the referees to potentially make that. Potentially she will be putting in Chakadaki again, number 3, who started the first half, and taking out number 4, Eva, but not entirely sure, or she's discussing exactly why Greece got that delay of game penalty, either not having their substitution cards ready or the player not being ready for the sub, or there's also a third option of that she had the wrong cards placed for that game, for that sub. Let's see if this second half will have the same players coming out as it was when it ended. I'll be updating you guys about 15 seconds until the eye shade check in the second half, which means that there's about 1 minute and 30 seconds left until we resume play in this game. Greece looking for that win to force a 3-way tie for potentially a more favorable semifinal. If Ukraine wins this game, they will be the #1 seed in this tournament heading into the semifinals and will face off against the 4th place Hungary tomorrow, along with Finland and Greece replaying their preliminary round match, where Greece lost actually by quite a lot, maybe looking to improve their chances against Finland. Same lineup for Ukraine. We actually haven't seen really any substitutions from them this entire tournament, although they do have 2 substitutes on the bench who could go into this game at any moment. Along with Greece, we've seen every single player hit the court at least once this tournament, except for Maria Tazala, their seasoned veteran who played in the 2004 Paralympic Games in Athens, Greece. Looks like Greece will make a substitution. They took out number 4, Eva, and they put back in Chakadaki. Greece will not need to chase Ukraine for their equalizing goal now. A go from that right side of the court. Takes a hop, throws a smooth ball that is called a high ball by the referee. I think that she disagrees with that. I also actually would disagree with that, but what do I know, right? And she will have to block the entire court by herself. For those of you who are not entirely sure about goalball, a high ball is when that ball doesn't touch the ground once before that 6-meter line in front of the team line. A go will have a penalty to block, a bounce ball by number 8, a very untraditional style of throwing a penalty, bouncing it for a woman. I have rewatched the high ball call on the live stream, and it was most definitely not a high ball, but I'm no referee. The ball was blocked anyways, so it doesn't matter. A go from that left side, throwing down the line on number 8 for Ukraine on that right side. The ball is forward. Likely Ukraine will pass this ball out. to not concede a penalty. They're looking to win this game straight out, and potentially taking that throw might risk them having a penalty, especially because these clocks in this gym have been running very, very fast. A go. Sweeping behind the center, going to that right side to throw this ball. Throwing a smooth ball, blocked by number 1 from Ukraine and passed to 3, their left wing. 3, a high ball thrown but not called by the referee this time. Interesting decision. And pass to Chakadaki after a block by Naka. Naka throwing down the line on number 3 from Ukraine. She'll back up to that left post this time and throw a smooth ball into the center on Naka. Naka will hand the ball off to a go. A go will throw from that left-hand side closer to center, across court, but blocked by number 3 from Ukraine. She'll take the ball from the left-hand post and throw across the face, just hitting the feet of Naka. Not able to get that ball after it deflected forward, and it is a turnover. The ball will return to Ukraine. Number 3 from Ukraine. Throwing the ball in that line area. Chakadaki had the ball deflect off of her, but luckily sideways and out. A go came over to that right side to collect the ball. She takes a hop before throwing, throws a bouncing ball right over the center, who makes a scream, but saved by the number 8 from Ukraine, who is behind her to make a secondary save. A go, quick shots that center, great placement of that shot across the face, but the center was able to recover and pass over to number 8 from Ukraine. We have a plane flying overhead right now, which means that we will take a short pause for an official's timeout, so Greece doesn't have a disadvantage on this throw. We're resuming play from number 8 on the right side for Greece, throwing a bouncing ball, kind of died a bit, but blocked by Naka, who's going to pass to Chakadaki on that right-hand side for Greece. She's going to take the ball and throw a smooth ball in the mid-wing line area for Ukraine. Easy block by the Ukrainian number 3. She'll start off on that left post and throw a cut gap, starting from the line, fading into the gap, and blocked by Chakadaki, who then returns the ball out. She just misaligned herself, misaligned her body on that block. Ball returned by number 3 from Ukraine, who throws another cut gap. A little bit more of a shaky block by Chakadaki this time, but recovered. Handed off to a go, who's throwing a bouncing ball into the center, almost loose again over the center for Ukraine, but recovered. Number 3 from Ukraine throws a ball across the face of Naka, but saved by Chakadaki. Chakadaki throws a ball again mid-wing line, not a scoreable shot at all whatsoever on number 3 from Ukraine. Potentially a shot that Ago wants to think about is a bouncing ball at number 3 from Ukraine, who directly lays down instead of having any sort of bounce ball form. The center for Ukraine as well, actually, which means that you can potentially easily bounce the ball over them. You see actually a lot of teams in goalball like to play the game against other teams the way that their weaknesses are as a team. So you may see a team who has throws a lot of bounce balls because their team's not very good at throwing bounce balls. Just a thought though. Number 3, Chakadaki from Greece's right side is winding up and shoots the ball again, end of wing line area this time, but still not a way to force number 3 to make a dive from Ukraine. She backs up on that left side. Ago will quick shot her, but is blocked across the face from the center, passed off to number 8 from Ukraine. Number 8 from Ukraine setting up at that right post, throws a ball down the line, and that left wing Ago will set up at that post. She'll bounce the ball, deflect off of the feet of the center, but just recollected by number 8 from Ukraine. And Naka makes that block after number 8 threw directly to her, but was not able to recover the ball. The ball passed half court and therefore will be returned to Ukraine. Number 3 now on that left-hand post, throws down the line on Chakadaki, blocks out. 7 minutes, 36 seconds to go in this half. Chakadaki releases that ball out, a wasted throw by Greece. Passed back into number 3 from Ukraine. She bounces the ball just slightly, a very untraditional style of her throwing. Naka will make the block on that right gap and then go to the left and hand it over to Ago, who almost runs into her. Ago bounces the ball into that right gap for Ukraine, and Ukraine's center just sweeps over with her feet to kick that out. A nice ball, but not dangerous for the feet of number 1 in center for Ukraine. Ago quick shots that ball after number 8 from Ukraine. Bounced the ball straight down the line. Blocked out, though. A great decision by Ago. Number 8, Ukraine. Bouncing the ball into that gap area. It will be turned back over to Ukraine as Naka's not able to get there in time, and the ball fades out in the neutral area. Number 8 from Ukraine sets up on that right post. Throws cross court, but blocked by Naka from Greece. Or Chakadaki, sorry. Chakadaki from that right side. Smooth ball into the center, blocked by the center. She'll chase it, recollect, and pass to number 3. Number 3 into that gap between Naka and Chakadaki. Chakadaki will slowly back up with the ball this time. 6 minutes and 35 seconds. She's going to have to hurry up so that Greece has more opportunities to score goals. Number 3 from Ukraine makes that block, but it deflects forward into number 1, who then passes to number 8 on the right wing. Chakadaki will hand off the ball to Vicky Ago, who will go over to that right side to throw this time. Skip before that ball and almost into the goal, off of the center's hands in that left gap for Ukraine. Past that left wing and saved by the right wing, number 8 from Ukraine. Another close shot for Greece. Number 8, Ukraine bounces the ball directly in the center at Naka, but Naka knocks that ball down. She gives the ball to Chakadaki, who throws down the line, but just inaccurate out. Chakadaki should also look at potentially throwing cross court, but hasn't yet. Number 3 from Ukraine throwing down into that gap between Naka and Chakadaki on the right side. Chakadaki will be going to the bench as Manny calls a substitution for Greece. We will have number 4, Ava, come in to replace her, potentially going to play that left wing area, probably coming into this game to offer a little bit more offense to help Vicky Ago out. Just a little bit of defense instability from number 4 in some previous games. So it may either make a difference in this game via Greece being able to equalize, or it could help Ukraine pull away. We're not sure yet. We're going to have to, continue watching this game. But from actually what I've heard from number 4, she's playing a great tournament so far. She's a better tournament player than she is a training player. So this is excellent. This ball will be taken by Ago, who's on that right side. Tried to throw into that gap between the left wing and center for Ukraine. Ukraine center will bounce the ball over to Ago on Greece's left side. So Ago will take this ball from the left-hand post. A little bit of a jump and a hop before bouncing that ball down the line to number 8 from Ukraine, who blocks that ball out. 8 from Ukraine will try to bounce that ball in between Naka and a go, but it's not possible for her to score in that gap whatsoever. 5 minutes and 13 seconds left on this clock. Ava will throw a skipping ball into the center, saved. She'll throw another bouncing ball down the line and saved this time by the knees of number 3 from Ukraine. Number 3 from Ukraine setting up at that left post. Throwing down into that gap, saved by Eva. She'll back up and go to center, moving the center out of the way so that she can throw a bouncing ball into the feet in the right gap of number 1, the center from Ukraine. The ball will be returned to Greece as it was blocked out in the neutral area. And Vicky Ago will now have her next shot with 4 minutes and 33 seconds left on the clock. She'll sweep over behind the center to that right side of the court and try to bounce the ball past the center, but saved. Passed over to number 8 from Ukraine, who will be looking to bring Ukraine just a little bit further away from Greece, as they're only up by 1 goal so far. Number 4 for Greece throws a ball and a wing line area. It's an unscorable shot. And number 3 will return the ball full cross on number 3. Vicky Ago almost scores on a quick shot, but is not able to get there as number 8 saves the ball on the goal line. Ava, number 4, blocks the ball out after 8 quickly throws the ball after recovering. She'll move the center out of the way. Naka leaves the center area, and she'll try to throw another bouncing ball to the feet of the center from Ukraine, but is able to be blocked. Now past to number 8 of Ukraine, who's going to bounce the ball down the line at Ago. Ago tries to quick shot her, but saved by the center of Ukraine, who sweeps her feet across. The ball will be returned to Ukraine's number 8 over on that right post. They have Ukraine has some fans here from Portugal cheering for them. It's amazing that they were able to make their way out to this European B Championships with everything going on in Ukraine right now. So kudos to Ukraine. Again, they're still only leading 2-1 with 3 minutes and 30 seconds left to go. Greece is looking to equalize this game or to take a win, as a win would mean that they would force a 3-way tie for first place in this tournament, moving into the semifinals, and they'll have to look at point differential. Depending on the points that each team has scored, it will determine who will play Hungary in that semifinal game tomorrow. Number 8 from Ukraine on that right side, throwing a bouncing ball blocked by Ago in that gap between her and Naka on the left side. She's going to move into the center to throw this next ball. Try to throw a bouncing ball, just saved by the chest of number 3 from Ukraine on that left-hand side and a wing line area. Eva with the next block after number 3 from Ukraine threw down the line. She'll have an opportunity, but she's going to need to throw fast to score, but not able. The center easily made that block. Number 8 from Ukraine throwing from the center area. She's the right wing. Will just sneak a ball past Naka, and at the last second, Ava number 4 was able to make that block. Greece will call a timeout with 2 minutes and 50 seconds left in this second half, looking to first equalize this game and then to search for another goal so that they can try to take the lead to force that 3-way tie. Greece having maybe a little bit more ideas as they're moving Naka out of the center now. They're going to have number 4 Ava throwing out of the center, maybe looking to bounce the ball over the center from Ukraine. This game, unfortunately, though, she doesn't have as much pop on her ball as she's had in previous games. There was a little bit more of a skippy shot, but saved by the center of Ukraine. in the center, passed off to number 8, who's bouncing the ball from that right side into the center. Naka is going to give the ball to Ava, number 4, on that right-hand side. They'll have about a 6 or 7 second shot clock, so she has time to get this ball off if she wants to, but throws an inaccurate shot in center. 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. Number 8 from Ukraine throwing across the face of Naka, but saved by Ava. Ava releasing that ball out, but saved nonetheless by the center from Ukraine, who will pass it over to their goal scorer, number 8. Vicky Ago makes the save from number 8 of Ukraine. She should really set up the shot, but also realize that she doesn't have a whole lot of time this tournament. Vicky Ago scores the equalizing goal to make the game 2-2. 1 minute, 59 seconds left on this clock, and Greece equalizes. She should be thrilled with that shot. Down the line from number 3 from Ukraine, scores a shot on Eva, who leaves her line open. She will give the ball off to Ago in back center, who will be looking to recreate the shot she just threw, but saved by the center from Ukraine. Passed off to number 8, who's throwing a bouncing ball at Ago, who's going to quick shot her into the corner, but saved. Ukraine's coach will call a timeout with 1 minute 31 seconds left to try to refocus their girls for this last minute and a half on what their goal is for this game, which is winning. Unfortunately, Greece gave up a goal right after they scored one, which is a cardinal sin in goalball. There's different ways that teams like to do it afterwards, but a lot of the time there are different sports psychology tricks that teams can use to refocus their team after a high of a goal, because the emotions of a goal brings your team to a high and sometimes unfocuses the players on court. So there are different mental cues that they can talk about, say, and use in games, and Greece may not have one. The ball starting with number 3 from Ukraine. She's going to throw down the line, but saved by Ago. 1 minute, 24 seconds left. Ago throwing a bouncing ball right into the gap, that left gap for Ukraine between number 3 and number 1. Ava and Vicky will switch again so that Ukraine doesn't have that knowledge advantage to score on Greece. Trying to move Eva around as the defense liability on Greece right now, trying to get Vicky Ago to be able to score this last goal in the last 1 minute. She's not able to score on that shot, blocked by the center. But Ukraine's number 3 throws a high ball in this last minute, which will open up a opportunity for Greece to get their lead back in this game. For those of you who don't know, Greece was leading in the first half 1-0, and they would love to force a win in this game. They would love to force a win in this game so that they themselves can force a 3-way tie between them and Ukraine. And Vicky Ago will take the lead in this game for Greece, scoring her 4th goal this game. The goal scorer who made an impact both in offense and defense in this game. The seasoned veteran at such a young age. Greece will now talk to their players, try to refocus them in the last seconds of this game. We have just under a minute left in this game, about 56 seconds. They have teams cheering for them here for Greece to be able to take the lead. If I'm mistaken, it must be Finland who's cheering for Greece, hoping that potentially they can take that first place spot away from Ukraine with a higher point differential. Saved block from number 8 from Ukraine. Greece will call a timeout. 50 seconds left to go. Maybe not the best time to call a timeout. I'm not a coach, but it may be better to let them keep playing. With 50 seconds left to go, there's plenty of time for her to call a timeout later on to try to get them to slow the game down. This may be the time to start thinking about throwing slow balls to try to take time off the clock, or at least slow down the approach for the throw so that Ukraine has less possessions to try to score. Maybe potentially also throwing the ball at Ukraine's less offensive player over on the left side with number 3. And a go throws into the center, so she will force the center to pass. They know where the ball is right now with number 8, who's throwing a long ball for Ukraine. Greece has another opportunity in this last 36 seconds to pull ahead one more goal with no mistakes. Greece can secure their win for this game. The thrower for this penalty shot will be a go, who's collecting the ball on that left side. She has a lot of pressure on her in this last time to be able to throw that ball down the line and blocked by the feet sweeping over of Ukraine's number 8, who's seasoned on that right wing. Maybe a good strategy for teams to look at is not throwing at the side where the players feel home at. A go makes a very, very comfortable block in this last 27 seconds of this game. She'll sweep around center and throw a ball into the center, just saved by the center of Ukraine. It's given off to the goal scorer, number 8 of Greece, who will throw at the center. Naka saves the ball with 13 seconds left on this clock. They have at most 2 more possessions, which means that Greece has the opportunity now with that block that they made cleanly to throw a slow ball down the court to waste a lot of time off of that 13 seconds to give Ukraine at most 1 more possession, potentially given off of a timeout or substitution by Ukraine's coach, to try to equalize this game. Let's see what Greece has in store. They have the ball right now in that right gap with Vicky Ago. She's taking her time and will throw a bouncing ball, good choice, over number 3 from Ukraine, but saved by 8. There's 4 seconds left on the clock here. This number 8 is going to have to make a move, but she doesn't, which means that Greece has just taken the win over Ukraine with 4 fantastic goals from Vicky Ago in this game, who saved the game after a crucial mistake by Greece's coach with their delay of game off of a substitution penalty. Greece was able to bring it back, scoring 3 goals in the second half against a strong Ukraine team who demolished Finland yesterday. And now there's a 3-way tie for that first place spot. Greece may not have enough points to take that first place spot, but may move Finland in first place so that Ukraine and Greece will play for a semifinal, but we're going to have to wait until the rest of the day plays out. We have a break now for lunch for the women's games. So thank you so much for joining me. What an exciting game, this game. And come back this afternoon where Finland will face off against host Portugal at 1:40 or 13:40 Portuguese time. And we will see each other again then. Again, I'm your host and commentator for this game, Amanda Dennis, and I hope you enjoyed this commentary as much as I enjoyed this game, and we will see each other after this lunch break with Finland versus Ukraine. See you then. Oh, I'm sorry, Finland, Portugal. Again, see you then.